Willie here at the Nobucks Garage. Over my shoulder, a serious upgrade. Here are the details. The Cobalt 2-stage $175 compressor. Maybe you remember the videos where I discovered this thing. My wife took me to this store called Dirt Cheap. And in the distance, this 80-gallon monster sat. And I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. If you know anything about the prices of these things, Lowe's retailed this compressor for $999. Dirt Cheap had it. They're like a closeout store, damaged goods store. $197. That's it. $197. It did, however, need some work. As you can tell, it's been modified a little bit. Just a bit. Now, in all honesty, this was dropped. And check out this video where I drained the water. There it is. You gotta see this. This is all the water running out of my brand new salvaged compressor that I got from Dirt Cheap. I get deals, but understand too that you're dealing with salvage items. There's no plug right there, so I don't know how all of this water that's running to the bed right here got into the tank. Actually, there's probably not a whole lot of water in the grand scheme of things that was in this. I don't know if this thing was in a flood or not. It did not seem to be, but it could obviously, you see this little bit of damage right here. This tank was dropped. The motor was damaged. This pressure switch was damaged, but has since been replaced, of course. And if you notice, these are not the stock lines that came on it. However, upon inspection, I discovered that the wheel did turn, the motor did turn by hand in the store, so I figured that there was at least nothing mechanically wrong with those pieces. I was later to find out that there was. The fall had actually slid the windings inside the motor toward the outside of the case, and I simply had to drive that back into its proper position and wire up the starter, and the electric motor worked just fine, and the pump worked just fine. So that prompted me to go ahead and do an investment. Now, to be honest, a 175 psi compressor, 80 gallons, is more than I need here. But if a little bit is just right, then what's that expression? If a little bit is good and too much is just right, I went for too much. Decided to construct an aftercooler, and that's what this apparatus is. Go back to that picture where I have before. Because of the position you can't see it, but there is a cooler, just a transmission cooler by Derail that I mounted on a frame that I welded to the motor mount and the compressor head mount for the tank itself. Now, the frame was free. Basically, it's just an old bed frame that I cut up to my use and welded with my new welder. Constructed that frame and mounted it just so that it does not touch the fan guard right there. There were some people that mounted theirs onto the fan guard and later regretted it because of the amount of vibration that took place. Actually caused their fittings to vibrate loose. So I fixed mounted my cooler, purchased the copper lines in a coil, a 10-foot coil, and bent them simply by hand. Now you can rent a tool, or you may have a tool, but I just gently bent those by hand to follow the contour that I felt was necessary. And this is how it came out. Now the outlet air comes from here into the cooler. When this is operating, the fan pulls more than enough air to cool the air charge going in, where it comes out here. Here's at a slight angle downward on the outlet side, where we get to the water separator before the cooled air goes into the tank right there. Simple process if you have a compressor. The amazing thing is the amount of water that that system removes. Other things that I had to purchase to make this a complete compressor: I had to replace the pressure switch. This is the LiFo that's available off of Amazon. Pressure gauge was reused. I had to put some additional piping right here to extend this out. Bought a new pressure relief valve. Nipple 90 degree, 3/4 inch cutoff valve. And this flexible isolator hose for vibration from Amazon. This steel piping right here, this black iron, is what I had to adapt from 3/4 down to 1/2 inch, 90, up to the Harbor Freight Special that so many people complain about. Now you notice I did the pipe doping on here. I used a Teflon type that was available from, I shopped at Lowe's this time as opposed to the other store, because I happen to like Mr. Ellis, CEO of Lowe's Corporation. At any rate, this has been absolutely leak proof. No changes were made to the sealant here or in the bottom, nor the O-rings top or bottom, nor that bolt right there. A lot of people complain that the hard whatever they use on there from the manufacturer leaks. I haven't had an issue from day one. I did this initially because I had to disassemble this in order to get all the iron piping that you see right here. So it goes to a 1/4 inch valve that can be used to isolate, cut off the air. And this piping here. And now we get to the jewel in this air system. You see this blue line here. Let's go over here. Let me show you the kit that I used. I purchased the Max Line M7500 3/4 inch kit. Now this has the aluminum pipe, the HDPE aluminum pipe that has the 2-line plastic with the aluminum and the plastic on the outer side too, that you can use to run your air system. Now I chose to start my system right here. It goes up to a T, and to the left the run goes approximately 3.5 feet before it makes this nice radius curve right here. Goes behind the boxes up there where all the model trains are, and comes down to the outlet that you see right there at the back of the shop. It goes across the rafters to the top, and behind this other stuff, as you can see, all this other stuff in the way, to this T in the middle of the shop, going to the hose reel that you see mounted right up there. Continuing from the T, I took it around behind all my spray paint, top shelf right there, to the front, following again that smooth radius down to the front area of the shop and ending with that block right there. It was very simple to accomplish. very easy to do. They sell tools for like $140 something to straighten this out. Now let me show you, because this entire kit is 100 feet of line that comes coiled like you see right here. They make a straightener for this, but there were so many reviews on there where people said they simply uncoiled. It's kind of difficult to do right now, but as you can see, it's fairly easy to manipulate, but they simply uncoiled it and straightened it out. I was able to accomplish all of the bends that you see without the use of any straightening device, and I got it relatively straight across the straight runs. Of course, for reference purposes, I used the top of the sheathing there on the wall as points and simply tacked up the plastic clips right there about every 5 feet or so, or any place that I thought would be critical to support the tubing. But this design, this air system, from the very beginning, just following the simple instructions to the letter, was absolutely leak-free. It probably took me a good, I'd say a solid 2 days, 2.5 days to accomplish all of it. But again, it's been a leak-free system now. I originally wanted to mount this compressor outside. However, that's kind of expensive, you know, having to pour a pad, having to create some type of shelter to cover this, having to run the electrical outside. So I decided to dedicate just a corner of the shop, a corner of the little garage, 24 by 24 garage. It's not that loud now, probably. Now, as you can see, I've walked to the back corner, and it's not terribly obnoxious, even inside, with the back door and the front door down. It's actually able, you know, I think you're actually able to tolerate it a little bit. Now there is one other thing that I do want to build. As you can hear, those pulses of the air intake right here, where the filter housing is. I want to build a muffler system that a lot of the folks online have done for their compressors to see how much quieter I can get this system, because it is inside the garage. But overall, extremely happy with the compressor and with the piping system from Maxline. Just from this short time that it's been on right now, a little above 60 psi, want to see how much water comes out. See all of that right there. I plan on getting some tubing and running that down. Tubing and running it down there to the floor, maybe underneath some type of catch pan, something of that nature. But just that short bit of runtime collected that much water that would have ordinarily been put in the line. Now, absolutely nothing wrong with my little compressor here, my 30-gallon that I've had for 3, 4, 5 years. It's going to a new home. So now the Nobucks Garage has a pretty adequate system in place to handle all my air needs. Now, you're wondering how much all of that costs? I'm going to show you here. So, inside the cost and analysis department of the Nobucks Garage, basically inside the house, that's the computer desk, where all the magic takes place. Here's a breakdown of what that air system cost me out there. Now, the compressor, $197. Woo, what a deal. Rapid Air 3/4 master system. Amazon 8 AN female half-inch fittings, $15.99. The air filter inside the housing, $7.99. 3/4 inch moisture trap, part number F706 November, $36.85. The flexible hose connector, which is 3/4 inches, $41.85. The pressure switch itself was by Lifu, $16.90. The safety valve, 175 PSI blow off, $8.32. The extended drain valve kit, $13.99. 3/4 to half-inch adapter, $5.99. The iron pipe to connect the isolator to the rest of the rapid air system, $49. And 10 foot of copper tubing type L was $22. That comes to a total $730.32. That's the air system at the Nobucks Garage. Thank all of you for dropping in. Want you to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends. We'll see you.